What is up, guys? Welcome here to the first episode of our new weekly Castle discussion video, where we are going to talk about everything that happens in the Lego Castle community, whether that be news, whether that be mocks, whether that be all sorts of different things that have to do with the medieval and castle theme. And this will just be an ongoing weekly theme. And if you have any topic or comment that you want discussed in the next week video, leave them in the comment section of this video, and I will discuss any and all things that have to do with castle or medieval, even if it's Lord of the Rings. That all can go into this type of video. That's going to go into these weekly videos. So without further ado, let's just get right into it. The first topic of the week is I came across this BrickCult Lego.com castle fan community. It's fairly new because I stay up to date with the Lego Castle theme, and I just randomly came across this BrickCult, and I don't know who particularly runs this. If you guys know, please let me know. I would be happy to maybe reach out to them, get some more information on here if that's something that they would want to do. But yeah, this is a very useful website, and I just wanted to show you guys some of the things that it had in it. Now, one of the things that I found very useful in it is if you come to the BrickCult.com and search Pick-a-Brick links, it will bring you to the Lego Castle Pick-a-Brick links webpage. Now, this will show you any and all that are currently in stock on Pick-a-Brick, links to that particular minifigure, torso, pieces, anything that can kind of work with medieval. And I find that very useful because you would just basically come here, you would click this, and it takes you straight to the Pick-a-Brick store on Lego.com, and then you can just add those to your cart. So, and they're separated very nicely in that they are the Griffin section, the Kraken section, and all those pieces that make up the Kraken. They have the Snurpant Knight, so it's pretty cool to see. Obviously, this one has made to be the horse guy. They put the cape in there. Then you have all the horse knight figure pieces that would work for him. Although I'm not seeing the torso of the horse knight. Surely that's not out of stock, right? Let's see. The horse knight torso. There we go. Okay, so the horse knight torso is there. It's just so many pieces that they didn't include it. But yeah, you still have the horse knight torso, so that is luckily and good to see. You even have a skeleton section, cool little shields, and you might come across things that you didn't even know were out there that can be utilized for the medieval and castle theme. And then just the armor section. I think this is really cool and useful because a lot of us, even myself, I have trouble navigating Pick-a-Brick. Like, yeah, you can go and you can just search Lion Knight's Castle and then click minifigure parts and pieces, and that kind of gives you a lot of them. But it's like, man, it's really hard to navigate. And then you even get pieces like this, like green armor and stuff like that, like wild stuff that they put in here. And you can go through and see if there's anything that you like, because there's so many pieces, like even the sword pieces, like stuff that's in Ninjago. Then you even have an animal section, all sorts of different capes that you've probably never seen before. Like that cape is insane. That's really cool. And just a lot of cool stuff. So I think this website is very useful for castle and medieval fans. That's why I just wanted to throw this on here, because I think it's really useful. I mean, you can easily just come here, click the link, and boom, you're taken straight to Pick-a-Brick, add them to your cart, ready to go, instead of having to search up the ID number and all that. So pretty cool. Wanted to throw this out there. But yeah, moving on to the next topic. Now, this next topic is about the Lego BrickLink Designer Program palette that dropped 2 of the new castle factions. Now, for those of you who don't know, the palettes are something that go live for BrickLink Designer Program. The BrickLink Designer Program are a glorified ideas program. They create sets for the community to pre-order, be shipped out 6 months later, but they are all sets that have to be built using Pick-a-Brick pieces. 2 of the castle factions are dropped. What that means is anyone's guess. So let's just read it into this article and see what we have for some information here. So the palette for next series of Lego BrickLink Designer Program has mysteriously dropped 2 castle factions from its part selection. BrickLink dropped the palette for 2028 Wave 1, or Series 12 as it was formerly known, over the weekend. And you can check it out for yourself by updating the latest version of Studio and Platform's digital design software, which is where you create your sets. For the designers who are creating for the BrickLink Designer Program, that's where you go to create your sets and publish them to BrickLink Designer. Says these are the elements available to budding designers hoping to submit models for upcoming series, blah, blah, blah. But the Kraken Warriors and Griffin Knights are not among them. So the Krakens and Griffins have been taken from that. That means they're going to be removed from Pick-a-Brick. I'm not trying to cause a panic. I'm not trying to make everyone just go to Pick-a-Brick and buy them all out and sell out everywhere. Please don't panic, okay? Because the minifigure vending machine is not going to retire until the end of 2027. The end of 2027. That's not the end of this year. That's the end of next year. Because Series 12 or 2028 Wave 1 is still 2 years away. We're still a long way from that. We still have another 15 months that those will still be on Pick-a-Brick. Because that minifigure vending machine will still be active, those parts will be on Pick-a-Brick. So you still have time to get the minifigures. Please don't rush and panic buy. Do not do that. And I encourage you to always only buy from Pick-a-Brick when you can use double insiders points, use gift purchases, use them for Black Friday if you're making big orders, and stack GWPs because Pick-a-Brick does count towards your insiders account, double XP, GWPs, and all that. So it says the relatively new castle factions are currently only available through official means, minifigure vending machine via Pick-a-Brick. The LEGO Ideas model is due to retire at the end of 2027 at the time of writing, which means the parts required for these minifigures will have left the portfolio by time 2028 Wave 1 sets ship in March of 2028. So, I mean, yeah, it says at the time of this writing, we're just saying that the minifigure vending machine will retire at the end of 2027. Sometimes sets get pushed even further, even further, even further. If it starts selling well, if it starts picking up, they'll push the retirement date back a little more. They have done that in the past, and here is that Kraken Knight, 2 minifigures that you get in that minifigure vending machine. It says that may explain why Kraken Warriors are not among the palette for the series, even while the Serpent and Horse Knight pieces remain, as the medieval Horse Knight Castle, in which those 2 factions can be found, isn't scheduled to retire until the end of 2028. However, at least one other torso in the palette, a dark green jacket over a tan ribbed sweater, is currently only available in the Italian Riviera, which is also retiring in 2027. Which brings us to the other possible explanation for the Kraken Warriors and Griffin Knights omission in 2028 Wave 1. The LEGO Group already has a set featuring one or both of those factions in the works and doesn't want fan designers to waste time building models that will automatically be excluded from selection. Lead designer, or BrickLink Designer Program lead Alex addressed the possibility of this situation last year. So that is the other possibility, is that we know that BrickLink Designer Program, I know that if you're watching this, and you watched me previously, I've said this 1,000 times, but for those of you who don't know, if LEGO has a set that they want to make, and they already have it in production, they are not going to allow a BrickLink Designer Program set come out that looks somewhat like that. If they have a Redbeard pirate ship coming out, they're not going to let someone make a Redbeard pirate ship in the BrickLink Designer Program, even though that LEGO official set has not come out yet. It's that simple. And that's what they're getting at here. Maybe there's a Kraken, maybe there's a Griffin Knight new castle line that they're planning. It says the loose rule, and this is the quote from Alex, it says, the loose rule is it in active development? He said, specifically referencing the list of intellectual properties that are off limits in the program. If there's a yearly release, we're going to stay out of that space. Modular buildings is on there because there's a new modular every year. Winter Village is probably one of those things too, where it's like, we should probably stay away from that. Even though modular buildings, I don't feel like they stay away from that. Look at the Art Factory. The Art Factory is a modular building to me. Like, there's no way around that. The Art Factory can be folded up and work as a modular building. That's the way I see it. And that's why it sells so well in the aftermarket. So where the line gets a little blurry is Castle. There are obviously releases for Castle, but there's a little bit further in between. We're seeing them maybe every couple of years or something like that. Same with Pirates. So those just depend on if there's something coming down the pipeline, then we'll steer clear of that and try to avoid it. Here's a couple of the nice sets that we got in the BrickLink Designer Program that tried to get past that unfortunately didn't. These are the stuff that people are making. Like, that's an amazing Kraken build. And again, these are sets that people are making and we vote on. Here's a nice set as well. This is a fan favorite. Can't believe that never got passed, but to each their own. I'm personally not a fan of this set, but I know the community really, really likes it. It says every series of BrickLink Designer Program since the Kraken Warriors and Griffin Knights joined the palette has featured multiple builds devoted to either of both factions, but Series 11's Royal Nest is the first set to explicitly hook to one of them, in this case the Griffins. The BrickLink team has already teased upcoming additions to the LEGO portfolio that will benefit that set too. It says, we've got a lot of, this is a quote from Alex again, when they revealed them. It says, we've got a lot of fun things coming with this model, so stay tuned for next year. Alex said, similarly, there are some new things on the horizon that we'll be able to take advantage of, which is a lot of fun. A mainline LEGO set dedicated to the two new factions could be one way to introduce new things that could be taken into the Royal Nest. The two Griffin Knights in Minifigure Vending Machine share the same design, for example, so a new torso for that faction could add some variety to the BrickLink Designer Program set's lineup. So it's very unlikely that LEGO Group would greenlight a BDP Griffin Castle set if it had its own waiting in line. Though, so if this is indeed the reason these factions are absent from 2028 palette, the most probable scenario is that the Kraken Warriors are getting a dedicated set and the Griffins may feature as adversaries. That's entirely speculation on our part, of course, and we're just connecting the dots here. What do you think? Blah, blah, blah. Now, here is that set that's coming in Series 11, I believe, and it goes alongside the Elven Citadel, which is one of my favorites from that series. This one's got a lot of work that needs done to it, like some of the vegetation, some of the stuff, and it's just hard to tell because it's not an in-person build. But it's very interesting to say that there's some exciting things to come for this set. Now, it points to a couple of things. Where my head leads is that we know the collectible minifigure series number 30, we had it leaked. I'm going to talk about this in a future weekly video because I have a lot to say about this, but I just want to briefly touch on it because this matters to what is going on here and might matter. But let me take you back to a previous series, and that was the Outlaw Forest Den. The Outlaw Forest Den was a Wolfpack dedicated set against the Lion Knights. The Lion Knights had a little caravan, and the Wolfpack that was their big base. That was their glorified base. So we got the Black Falcon fortress in BrickLink. We got the Horseman Stronghold as their big base in BrickLink. And now we had the Wolfpack big base in BrickLink. And that kind of covered all the classic factions. Well, the Outlaw Forest Den used the animal, which was the wolf, and the shield that came in that Series 27 CMF Beastmaster Wolfpack minifigure. It was a fan favorite. That thing sold out instantly. You could never find them. LEGO, for some reason, allowed BrickLink to put that animal mold and the shield piece into an official LEGO set. We've never really seen that before. If you know of an occasion where a dedicated piece that is new to the CMF came out in a future LEGO set, please let me know in the comments below. But this is the first time, to my knowledge, that this ever happened. Now, where I'm going with that is, we know the black and yellow Raven Knight is coming in Series 30. That was leaked by a reputable leaker. This is called the Royal Nest, right? That doesn't mean we have to use the Griffin Knights. Look back to Dustmark Keep. Dustmark Keep was going to use that tax collector torso, right? And be like the tax collector base for the bounty hunters. But that was completely changed to the yellow Serpent Knight. So is that out of the question to turn this castle into a yellow and black Royal Nest castle when it's already got the Royal Nest, birds, griffins, ravens, switch it over to the black and yellow Raven Knight castle, because BrickLink and Alex knows that they are going to get permission to use that CMF minifigure in this upcoming set. There's some other things I have to talk. There's some other conclusions I have about even the little. Just watching a future video. I'll probably cover it in the next episode 2 castle video of that Raven Knight, and something that it already connects to that is currently out with a LEGO castle that points to a highly probable case of the Raven Knight getting its own castle. But I want to say that for another video, because that's a whole another thing I have to get into to describe it. But I think there's a very good possibility that he was alluding to, knowing that the Raven Knight's coming and that they're going to be able to switch that to this because the Griffin Knight is probably going to be in its own official LEGO set. That is just where my head leads, that is where I'm concluding these things. It's a little bit of speculation, but it's calculated speculation based on the facts we have. So that is that for the whole Kraken and Griffin Knights being dropped from the palette. But moving on to the next topic, I want to discuss this: the Lego Lord of the Rings Helm's Deep and Prancing Pony that are reportedly on the way. Now, we got a big leak a while back from this email and file that got announced. It got leaked. Somebody left a file open or added a PDF to an email that they shouldn't have when they got sent something through Lego, and someone got a hold of it that shouldn't have and leaked the whole thing. And it has a list of a bunch of sets that are going to be coming out in 2027 and 2028. I did a big live stream on that entire list and my thoughts on it. It was really fun to be with you guys and talk about it. So if you wanted to see the whole list, I would recommend going and watching that live stream back a little bit. But two of the sets that were in this big leak were the Prancing Pony and Helm's Deep for Lord of the Rings. Now, this is a big change because usually we only get one big Lord of the Rings set a year. Now we're going to get two, and we're going to get one that's more affordable. Prancing Pony is going to come in right around $200 or so. The Helm's Deep is going to be the big, huge set like Arendelle, like Minas Tirith, that sort of thing. Now, the reason I'm talking about this in the Castle video is that Helm's Deep is perfect for Castle fans because it's literally a medieval castle, essentially. And I just want to read through this, and I'll show you some images of what it could look like. This was what it previously was when Lego released this, when Lord of the Rings had their theme active in the past, when they made actual affordable sets, and now they just make $1,000 sets. So this is what it previously looked like. So the next two Lego Lord of the Rings sets following the rumored Oliphant are said to be the Helm's Deep and Prancing Pony. Instagram user Carter Bricks reports that Lord of the Rings Prancing Pony and Helm's Deep are in the works and released sometime in 2027 or 2028. Given the icon sub-themes' current cadence of one large Middle-earth set per year, it wouldn't be a stretch to assume that one of those will launch next year and 1 year after, if they exist at all. Now, I wouldn't say that we would have that information for one to release in 27, one to release in 28. My guess is one of these is going to release in the spring, probably Prancing Pony. They're releasing the Elephant in January. Prancing Pony will come out spring. And then Helm Deep will come out September, July, like they did with Minas Tirith. Somewhere around there. Don't need to read that. So the Prancing Pony, meanwhile, has never been recreated in an official Lego set situated in a town of Bree. The Prancing Pony is where the hobbits first meet Aragorn. Blah, blah, blah. We don't really care about that. Now, this is what the Prancing Pony looks like in the game. So as you can tell, Lord of the Rings is very medieval-centric. It delves in that world very deeply. And I think it can go contemporary with our own earthly medieval stuff. Yeah, that Lord of the Rings is very fantasy-driven, but the architecture they use is very medieval to our day and age in our time. Both of these sets would have a lot of potential for Lego Castle fans, as they're essentially a mountain fortress and medieval inn. So here's hoping there's some truth in this rumor, but take it with a hefty pinch of salt for now, because the details are far and few between. And again, I think this has very reputable leakers behind it, and they would really be tarnishing their reputation if this was not the case, because a lot of eyes are on this leak right now. If this thing doesn't come true, people are going to be literally livid. People will lose their minds. And just to show you some of the images of the Prancing Pony, because we don't really have a good idea of what that looks like for a Lego set, because we've never gotten a Lego set. This is just what some images are of it. So you can definitely tell it's just very medieval tavern based. Some very dark tones as well. Nice little painting here. You get that. You still have that Tudor corner type walls. A lot of brickwork. Very, very cool. Very dark taverny. It would be very cool to get because it would work so well with the medieval theme. Like next to Medieval Town Square or something. Depending on the scale, it's like, man, even the Shire. The Shire set worked so well with the medieval theme just because, I don't know, it's like, in a fantasy world, that is. This one would probably be way better because Shire is more fantasy driven. Hobbit, like a little house. This one can be used as like literally a medieval tavern for the classic castle faction, to be honest with you. And here is what the old Helm's Deep Lego set looked like before, and you can obviously tell it's got a big wall. It's very circular in its nature, very big for the time, and a lot of gray being used. Here is just some of the image of the real life counterpart in the movie. Again, here's like a little knockoff Lego set. This is something that it could be, and I imagine it will be probably this big to match like the size of Minas Tirith and that sort of thing. So like if we got something like this, man, imagine making a big, cool like Bright Knight's castle or an evil type of faction, Black Falcons, even something like that. The Bull Knights or anything, but obviously you have this big circular structure that's walled off with a big ramp, almost like Iron Knight's castle, and then a big wall to the side of it. Really cool. I think it has a lot of uses, and then it's built onto the side of a big rock face. So, man, if it came to fruition that this thing was real, I think there's a lot of uses that can be done with this. So here's to hoping that happens. But also in that leak was a set called Arendelle. Now, for those of you who don't know, I myself didn't know. I had to be explained this. Arendelle is, and okay, I just want to point out this: the leak was kind of hard to follow because they would be very vague. But this leak said this: giant Arendelle castle from Frozen, giant castle from Frozen, not the ice one. That's what it said. So we are left to believe that that is Arendelle because that is the other big castle that takes place in the Frozen movies, the little dancing snowman with the carrot thing. That all the girls like love the Frozen movie. So this is Arendelle from the Frozen movie. Now the reason I'm pointing this out again is this thing is perfect for Castle Medieval fans too. Like, look at it. Like, yes, they've been using mini dolls for the Frozen franchise. They make Frozen Lego sets, but they use those mini doll minifigures. But there is a silver lining to that because they have recently been remaking big Lego castle sets for the Disney princesses. They recently did Beauty and the Beast, and they used minifigures for the models, not the mini dolls. But my guess is what Lego's doing, what they're planning to do, is like they do for Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, big sets, one a year. They're going to do that for Disney, Princess Castles. They're going to make one big minifigure set a year. Last year it was Beauty and the Beast, or the year before that. Now we're going to do the Arendelle Castle. Then we're going to do the Ice Castle. Then we're going to do Snow White or something like that. Just go through big sets that are like $300 that are going with the Disney princesses that can be used for people to collect all the different castles at the same type of scale. And this is what it would look like in the movie. This is what it looked like in the movie. And then obviously this is the ice one. I don't know if it like turned to ice because that kind of looks the same as that. So it turned to ice at some point in the movie. I'm not quite sure, but the leak clearly says not the ice one, which is really good because this is very medieval type of architecture. And you have a bunch of information. This is the inside of the castle, so very cool, very medieval. Pretty cool. But here is what I want to show you guys. Here is that Beauty and the Beast castle set that they recently did in minifigure scale, and it was 3,000 pieces. You get 10 minifigures, $279. So like I said, they're doing these big castles to get people to buy them because we like collecting them, and they all kind of go together. This was the start of it, in my opinion. This is what they're going to do. Like, tons of architecture work. Like, look at all the tiny little details. And I think that's what they're going to do with the Arendelle, man. You got some really cool-looking minifigures. Even in this set, you get some really medieval-looking minifigures because all the Disney princess castles, or all the Disney princess movies, from them old days of Disney when they actually made good movies, they were taking place in those old storybook worlds where they were medieval times. So even the interior is really cool. Like if Arendelle is anything close to what they did for this, that'd be really cool. Like that. Like look at that. Dual molded arm print. You could so easily use that for medieval, for pirates even, like, and that's good because if Arendelle comes out and we really like it, then it's like, at least if we're buying it for our castle theme, we don't just waste our money on the minifigures. Yes, you can sell the minifigures for a lot on the aftermarket and just keep the set itself, but you'll be able to utilize some of these, even him, very pirate-esque for his shirt. Here are all the minifigures here, even Gusteau, whatever that dude's name is, and then you got a nice little peasant shirt here. Very good quality minifigures, and here is what it looks like in person. I mean, I'm not even a Disney guy. I'm not even a real, like, crazy Disney person, like, oh, Disney fan. And my wife isn't either, but I kind of wish she was, because so that she'd collect these and I'd be able to enjoy them and kind of steal the minifigures and stuff like that. Like, it'd be cool. Like, look at how, like, they put a, I'm not gonna lie, this looks amazing. For those of, like, even the Harry Potter, like, Harry Potter fans, Disney fans, they get treated really good for Lego sets. I'm not gonna lie to you, because that's an excellent looking Lego set. Like, for those who, like, really love the movie, like, even the Rose upstairs that, like, dies in the movie, you've got some Easter eggs of, like, him turning into the Beast. Just, oh my gosh, just, it's crazy the amount of love that went into it. That minifigure design is excellent, man. And there's where that's what it looks like on display, obviously. So, I mean, if Arendelle is anything like this, what I said, like I said, probably going to come in at $279. They're going to keep that same price point, keep the same structure of it. Could be really good. And here is a look at it in the actual movie, when it's like, when they're going to the castle. So, as you can see, even pirate ships, could they throw in a little ship build to the side of it? Who knows? I think that would be really awesome. But then you have the big wall off to the side of it, little town back here. But this is what Arendelle is before it turns into the ice castle, I guess. If any of you can do like a little TLDR on what even happens with the castle or what it's about, please let me know. I know it's like based Norwegian, very Norway centric. But yeah, this is Arendelle. Obviously, they did some very medieval type stuff in that Frozen movie, like they do in most of the Disney movies. But this was a more recent Disney movie that like people really quite liked. And like even looking at the background here, like these towers and all these heraldry, like if we get stuff like that, imagine getting a bunch of new shields. Like that's a very prominent thing on this in this movie. And like you have to represent that in the castle build if you're gonna recreate it, right? Like these heraldry and stuff. Like imagine getting a bunch of new shields. That would be sweet. Like I imagine that will be what the castle looks like. Like those very much that's what you're going for. The pillars, the towers, the rounded roofs, pointed roofs, and then those types of classic, or those more modern day roofs. You might even have a big bridge that leads up to it. So that will be really cool to see. But at the end of the videos, I want to go through the mocks. Now, here is a couple of the mocks that happened in the Lego Castle Reddit. If you have some mocks that you want to show or something like that, throw them in there. Throw them into the mock section of the Lego Castle not Discord, Reddit, and I'll probably be covering it in future videos because I'm just gonna scroll through them here, kind of look through. If something catches my eye, we'll take a look at it. That's actually pretty cool with a well inside. But it'll give us some good, cool ideas on some stuff. That's really cool. So like a dwarf mine. Cause I just love seeing stuff like this. The dwarf mine. Ooh, that's cool. Pretty cool. A little enchanting table. Nice. Woodland Bridge. Is that a CMF night? I believe, right? CMF night? Can I actually can I filter this to like okay, it only does new. Okay, I was gonna see if it does like the best stuff. But moving on here. Looks like someone did a new castle monk. That looks cool. I wonder how they did that. What pieces those are. Cool. This is really nice. Black Falcon fleet, 2 of 6. This person made a bunch of Black Falcon ships. Look at that. How did you get the... How did you make those? Did you custom make those flags? The sails? And look at the curvature of this. And look how many minifigures fit in this boat. Like, this thing is huge. That's sweet, man. Really cool. And they're not the same. I like that. They're not perfectly the same. There's underneath. Really cool. How did you make those sails? That's really cool. Medieval Winter Town. Look, no, that looks like it's the One Piece castle. Am I wrong? That looks like a One Piece castle. Kind of split open. That's pretty cool. Dinosaurs. Village notice board. That's cool. Lego Creator 3-in-1 iconic pirate ship into a medieval carrack. That's cool. He was able to use that set to build this. Make it more medieval instead of being pirate focused. That's cool. Castle Dungeons. WIP Castle Dungeons. What is that? What does WIP mean? Cool. Okay, the Wolfpack are locked up. Those guys are locked up, but they've been there a long time. So yeah. Quest board. Oh, that's cool. 3-year-old castle. That's cool. I like that. That's some old gray bricks. Cool. Look at that tree design. I really like that tree design. But this one was really cool. So, parts list for the beer stand in the Medieval Town Square expansion. Now, I covered this a long while back. That Medieval Town Square expansion article. You can go back and find it. Actually, I think it's a members only video, so you'd have to be a members only. If you go to members only, you'll find a Medieval Town Square expansion page on Lego.com. In it, they talk about how they did a Lego designer took it upon themselves to create a bunch of add-ons to the Medieval Town Square. And this is it right here. And I thought it was so cool. I did a big video on this, and that's what like kind of got it all sparked up into the community. Like, it's really cool. And like, it's almost like it's an official expansion, but like not a lot of people know about it. So we've been in the community kind of like recreating everything we've seen and making a parts list. So if you want to build, now they've completed this stand, you can just come here, get the parts in the comments probably. Yeah, right here. So this list can be uploaded CSV from online to Brick and just build that if you're wanting to expand your Medieval Town Square in like an official capacity, an official way. Because the Lego designer actually made that, and then Lego literally photographed it or photographed it and literally put it out there in its own article as like ideas to expand your Medieval Town Square, which I thought was incredibly cool. It's one of the coolest things I've ever come across in the Lego articles section. But yeah, really cool. That's a members only video. If you want to become a member, it really does help me out. You guys get some exclusive perks and stuff, and you get your name and minifigure at the end of the video. So I would encourage you to look into that if you are so fortunate to be able to help out in that regard. A small Lego Tavern mock. That's cool. Very Legorado type vibes. Yo, Alchemist Traveling Tavern for Lego ideas. Yo, it's like a big turtle. That reminds me of that movie that came out recently. It's like there's a movie that came out with Michael B. Jordan in it, and he plays like a puku or something. My wife had me watch it. It actually ended up being pretty cool. It had like the firewolf in it. You know, but that like reminds me of it. Yo, my digital castle mock Shogun Stronghold, the main keep of a samurai castle. I would like to keep expanding in the future. Really cool. That's one thing we don't get enough of is samurai, and we did get that moon. The moon set. It's like very castle-y inspired. People talked about it a lot in the community when it came out. But it's something of the Rising Moon or some Lego set that's currently out right now. I actually did a big video on it. But in the video, I also talked about a bunch of leaks that I was emailed, and I never posted it because I didn't feel comfortable with it, and I didn't know if the person was telling me the truth. I might post it to members only, just so that it's not out there to the public, because I don't even know how to feel about the leak because it talks about a lot of stuff with the castle theme, and I don't know if it's just a pipe dream, if it's like real. But there's some stuff that they said in it that I can prove if it's real in the coming future. but I don't know. It'll, I don't know if I'm comfortable enough to say it's weird, man. Yeah. There's some crazy people out there. I'll tell you that. Castle scene with the skeletons. What was that old? I watched a show one time on like Cartoon Network or something. And it was like they were in the castle world and there was these two skeletons. One was like super goofy and dumb and the other one was like his partner and they would like he was always trying to keep him in check and like they would do dumb stuff. And then the world was painted on in a wall, like they ran into the wall and they were trying to go to the castle world and those two skeleton guys were chasing these guys down. Was it like something powers or something? There was like a little movie. And it had to do with like castle. That kind of reminds me of that. That's cool. Looks like a church type build. But I think that is where okay, this is where we'll end because that's awesome. Actually, let's read it. Updated Lion Knight's Castle. Look at this. This is more than update. They added the dragon. I really want to get that dragon before it goes out of stock. I just don't have enough. There's just too many Lego sets to keep up with, man. Like I don't have enough funds to just keep getting stuff. It's just crazy. But this is really cool. You feel the heart and soul of what Lion Knight's Castle was with this like entrance, but obviously it's nothing like Lion Knight's Castle is. Really cool. I love this down here. Excellent job on this. That's crazy. This guy's crazy, man. That looked good. That looked good. Man. Man, oh man. What a time to be alive. I know that Lego Castle, the news is far and few between, right? But there are things like going through mocks, like talking about the future and BrickLink Designer Program and stuff that can be exciting. So that's why I just want to start a weekly castle news discussion show where we can talk about it weekly and you guys know that a new castle discussion is going to be coming out without a doubt every week because previously I've just been posting them whenever randomly. I feel like I would personally, if I was a viewer, would know and want to one every week guaranteed. So I'd be like, okay, cool, we're getting a castle talk, and I love to do that, and I'll build some castle minifigures while I watch it. That's just personally what I would want. So I kind of want to provide what I personally would want. If you guys have a cool name that you would want this castle weekly talk show to be, let me know in the comments below. Like I said, and if you have a topic, a comment that you want in the next episode, please leave it in the comments. Even questions, let me know. Anything is on the table as long as it discusses medieval castle in some way, shape, or form. But yeah, really cool. I really think this can be beneficial to us as a community. Yeah, be sure to subscribe, like the video. You guys have been helping out a lot on the videos. I cannot tell you how much I love doing this. It's incredible fun. And the videos help me be able to fund my hobby because I'm able to help the funds and be able to do cool things. I've been getting all kinds of stuff so that I could be able to film these videos in a watchable way that I personally would want to watch. But yeah, you guys have been helping out a lot. So please continue to do so. I really do appreciate it. But yeah, I'm going to get on out of here. So I will see you in the next week's castle video.